People say that the economic shift of gravity is to Asia, and certainly in Asia is the heavy manufacturer from the United States, Caterpillar. Group President Richard Lavin is speaking at the Asian Financial Forum 2012 here in Hong Kong. And right now he's speaking from Illinois in the United States. Richard, hello there. And can I ask, first of all, whether Caterpillar is at the center of this kind of shift? And second of all, what your strategy is?
There's no question, Martin, that there's been a shift generally to Asia and to China. And we've seen that pretty dramatically in our business. China today, for example, represents our largest industry for machines and engines. And I think Caterpillar has been very much at the forefront of moving toward China really for more than 30 years. But our investments in capacity, our investments in product, our investment in distribution and product support in China, all of that reflects the fact that China is our largest market and will continue to grow at a fairly significant rate for the foreseeable future.
So does that mean you don't see a slowdown in the Chinese property market and also, of course, in the construction business?
Generally in China, we think they're, certainly in 2012, they're probably going to maintain an 8.5% to 9% GDP growth rate, and we see industry growth in line with GDP growth. The infrastructure market, if you will, the construction market, we think will be very good. The mining industry is growing at a significant rate inside China. We in fact see industry growth for construction equipment year on year, 12 over 11, increasing by about 10%, in line with GDP growth.
Caterpillar entered the RMB bond market earlier this year, the so-called dim sum bond market. How's that been going generally?
Well, it's worked out very well. As you know, Caterpillar Financial is a global organization, and we're really increasing our financing footprint inside China. The dim sum market has been very attractive for Caterpillar Financial. It's given us direct access to RMB-based financing. It's been done at a very attractive rate, and we've done about $500 million through 2 issues. And so that's an avenue that will continue to be open to us, and the Caterpillar Financial will continue to explore based upon growth of our business inside China and customer needs.
So Richard, how comfortable are you with the idea of the RMB as a trading currency?
Well, there's no question that I think the credibility of the RMB as a trading currency is increasing. Where the RMB goes ultimately is going to depend on a number of factors, including the Chinese government's willingness to allow the RMB to float more freely against other global currencies. But there's no question that the RMB credibility as a global currency is increasing. And we're quite comfortable with that. I mean, at the end of the day, Caterpillar as a global organization wants access to a number of different currencies around the world to affect our trades, to affect our business. And so we think the growth and credibility of the RMB as a global currency is a good thing.
So you're really relaxed about the ups and downs of the RMB currency market, really?
Well, we've been able to manage those ups and downs pretty effectively over the past couple of years. We think generally the Chinese government will continue to allow the RMB to strengthen against the dollar and other global currencies. We think they've done a very good job of managing that over the past several years, and our expectation is they will continue to manage that, I think, in a way that makes sense for China and frankly makes sense for some multinational companies.
And talking about Hong Kong is seen as the center of the overseas RMB market. But what's the future holdout, would you say?
Well, we think the RMB market in Hong Kong will continue to increase. The dim sum alternative, I think, has been very successful. As I mentioned, we've tapped into it twice. We've got about $450 million, $500 million of total RMB financing through Hong Kong. We see that as only increasing. As far as Hong Kong is concerned, we think Hong Kong is perfectly positioned, given that it's an international financial and business center, given its proximity to China, given its role, I think, in China's development overall. We think it's a perfect location for our administrative offices in that part of the world. Access to information, access to customers, access to government officials in Hong Kong is really extraordinary and is one of the reasons that we are located in Hong Kong.
And you also see Hong Kong as more broadly providing access to the Asia-Pacific market.
That is a perfect point. I think being located in Hong Kong, you not only have access to China, you've got immediate access to every part of Asia Pacific. So in my role, I have accountability not just for China, I have accountability for the whole of Asia Pacific. And so I travel frequently to India, Indonesia, Thailand, other locations, and Hong Kong gives you really excellent access to all of those markets.
Asia, driving sustainable growth. That's the theme of the Asian Financial Forum 2012, which you're attending. But do you really embrace that theory?
Sustainable development, sustainable growth, Martin, is a very important part of our overall business model in Caterpillar. There are a couple of examples in China that really stand out. The largest coal bed methane-fired power plant is located in China, and we're running our engines at that facility. So methane gas, which if flared is incredibly toxic, is instead being captured and burned in our power operation. That's just one example. But sustainable development is a key part of our business model. We look for ways in all of our projects, in all of our investments in China, to make sure that we're focused on the sustainable element of those investments. And we work with a number of government agencies in China to make sure that we're driving those sustainable results.
And that's the message you're going to be providing at the Asian Financial Forum.
Absolutely, and I really look forward to that. I think it's a strong developing theme in China generally, but it is, as I mentioned, a very important part of our overall business model.
RMB